Welcome, dear learners, to this particular short video on smart manufacturing and operations system. Well, in this video, we're going to be discussing two important aspects, two questions that we would like to answer through this particular video. So, what do we understand by production and operations in the smart manufacturing and operations process? And then production and operations as the two terminologies that we very often use in the factory system are interchangeably used. So let us try understanding what is the difference between these two concepts. Production and operations is the management of processes and operations used by the businesses in the production of their goods and services. So what exactly happens in a factory is goods are produced. So it happens through this production process. But production process is a very thoughtful, very scientific, and a very well defined process. Hence, it is a study of design, operation, and improvement of production systems so that we are able to achieve the two E's that are very prominently discussed and deliberated, and we try to achieve these two goals. The two E's are efficiency and effectiveness. So, production management refers to the application of the management principles to the production function in a factory. Basically, we're looking at the principles of management, planning, organizing, directing, and staffing, which happens to be the core fundamental principles of any management process, is now applied in the production process in the plant or in the factory, that we are trying to effectively apply these principles and be able to achieve efficiency and effectiveness. So production is a scientific process where we are transforming the raw materials into finished commodities. So we have the raw materials or the input factors coming into the factory, and it goes through various workstations where value addition takes place on the material, a lot of modification takes place on the material, and then finally it comes out of the plant or the factory as a finished commodity. So this whole thoughtful, scientific, and a planned process of trying to convert raw materials to finished commodities is what we understand as the production process. There are three different ways in which we achieve this. One is through production through separation, right? It is for certain types of uh, industries which extract raw materials from the crust of the earth, or they get these raw materials in a very crude form, and then they put them into a process. They run them into a process. The material, the crude raw material, goes through a particular process where it goes through extraction or separation. So the best example that we can give is the crude oil. The crude oil that is extracted, which is got through the drilling, which has got through the drilling process, and we bring that into the system. We try to extract maximum from the crude, and that's where we get petrol, diesel, kerosene, and many other oils that are used in production as well as in daily consumption purposes. The second type of operation is what we call is the modification and improvement. And this is what all of us are very familiar. When we go to a factory, we see raw materials going through or subjected through a lot of process. It goes through heating, it goes through cooling, or sometimes it's the material gets hammered, the shape of the material has to be changed. So all of that is what we understand as the modification or the improvement. And as we gradually see that happening from one workstation to another, we slowly begin to see that the shape of the material changes, and then finally it seems to be getting some form. The third is the assembly, which is very popular in the current times, where we outsource a lot of these production components and processes, and then there are multiple supply chain or supply partners who supply these raw materials, and we bring all of those raw materials and components, semi-finished components, into the production system, into the plant, and then we assemble them. By assembling, we're riveting, and we're trying to put them together to give it a certain form, and that is production by assembly. Now, going on to understand what is operations. Operations management is a very continuous process where we are always looking at trying to achieve efficiency in the highest possible way. How do we make our systems more efficient? How do we create the systems a little more, so that we are able to achieve it through a particular goal? It is concerned with the raw material. The production is concerned with the raw material, conversion of raw materials and labor, and all these input factors operations is looking at each of those activities and then trying to see how we can optimally utilize these resources. Where it could be labor resource, it could be material, it could be equipment, it could be methods. Any of these things that are going through the production system, we are aptly trying to see that we are able to achieve optimal utilization of the resources and thereby achieve effectiveness and efficiency. So operations will also include thinking very strategically about the issues. It could be about the size of the plant, the different workstations that we are designing, and the various composition of uh, labor, material, methods, and equipment that has to go into the system. So we look at all of that, and wherever possible, if there is technology that can brought in to be achieving this goal of efficiency, we do that, and that's precisely what operations does. So in short, in conclusion, production will look at conversion of raw materials into finished commodities, looking at the most effective way by which we can do that. And operations goes through the methods and then looks at how we can achieve this optimally, thereby that we are able to increase our productivity and thereby reduce the lead time and then ensure that the highest possible efficiency is achieved in terms of making the good available and releasing it into the market at the right time. So thank you. I hope this particular video has helped you to understand the two different concepts, production and operations, and how they seem to be two important functions, more like the two sides of a coin. So thank you.